Amidst the forests, mountains, and shores of New England reside a unique group of faiths centered around the occult. Falling under the folkloric umbrella, the primary occultist faiths both revere and fear mysterious entities of great strength and power who roam within dark forests or deep sea, while another oft-forgotten sect belongs to an ancient secret society of craftsmen and pay reverence to a high divine architect. In this After the End video, I will be discussing the lore of these faiths, but unlike how I normally do these videos, I will not be discussing their in-game mechanics. I'm experimenting with a new, more narrative-focused format as I feel the discussion of tenets, systems, and holy sites tends to break up the flow maybe a bit too much. I feel most of the time individuals who are coming to these videos are doing so to get to the background on these faiths, not necessarily their mechanics. Anyway, at their core, occultists largely believe that the event was the result of the Old Ones, forces of unknowable will and purpose who designed to end the world as it once was for varying reasons. How they deal with this inconceivable cruelty is dependent on the sect, but generally all sects of occultism believe humanity lives beneath impassive beings of incomprehensible strength who think nothing of mankind and grant boons or curses to them on whims or happenstance alone. They also generally believe in the safeguarding of their ways of life, be it through the keeping of great lighthouses or through the collection of ancient texts. But first and foremost, occultists hold that to survive in this reality, one must first accept their insignificance and make peace with it, lest they succumb to madness and fall into despair. Madness is a common, reoccurring enemy throughout a lot of the occultist faiths, so you'll be hearing me say or talk about madness a lot. There are currently 3 occultist sects, and After the End at the time of making this video, those being the Gothic, Fathomless, and Arcane occultry. Gothic occultry is probably the most widespread of these sects and is a mostly forest-based occultist faith who believe that in the heart of ancient New England woods, secrets roam in dark places, in moonlit glades and atop forbidden altars. The Gothics hold clarity of mind highest above all, believing madness to be a curse of the Old Ones and hell made manifest on earth. Gothics believe that to truly see, one must learn to commune with the spirits of the forest by way of the ageless stranger, their high god. This is generally done at a hearth or place of worship and led by a storyteller or wise woman of the cult, with the use of their holy text known as woodland tales. Their pantheon of gods consists of various deities, both malevolent and benign, but is led by the ageless stranger, as I previously said, who walks the forest taking on a myriad of entities, or rather visages, from the fallen champion to the morning star. Regardless of what form they take, however, they are darkness itself, and the link between mortals and the Old Ones or creator gods, through which man can commune with and receive boons from their streams of unknowable power. Other deities of this faith include ravens, who are symbols of fate, the spectral moose, who governs health, and the headless horseman, the god of death. Their head of faith is referred to as the elder yarn spinner, or the Gothic hearth. Along mist-sprayed and rocky shores reside the fathomless occultry, who believe the fate of not only their homeland but the entire world is entirely in their hands. Destined to hold the equilibrium of the world in balance, the fathomless stand as guardians against the deep ones, greater gods of old, who awoke from their ancient slumber long ago during the Great Awakening, or sometime during the event. These deep ones then came ashore, ushering in the present by destroying the old world and leaving those that remained to tend to the lights that once sealed them away. Fathomless are a fairly isolationist group. If you're familiar with the Upper East Coast, then you're familiar with their icy disposition. They sort of play on that. They put almost all of their effort into the maintenance of these holy lights, or lighthouses, which keep vigil on the waters and keep the deep ones slumbering. But should their vigil fail, the barrier will fall, and the deep ones will rise once more to consume the new world, perhaps forever. Fathomless naturally view lighthouses as a place of worship and pay homage there with various shanties led by light keepers who are tasked with not only maintaining the lights, but preaching their faith to the faithful, or wiki as they are called. Of their various gods, there is the white whale, or trickster god, Neophros, father of lobsters and the god of wealth, and the old man of the sea, high god whom they often call upon to keep the dead ones slumbering, or so we can assume. For the fathomless cower beneath the natural hurricane-like forces of the deep ones, and know the only way for them to stop them is to plead for their meager lives and keep the fires bright. Their head of faith is known as the Lightbringer, or the Anchor of Reality, which is actually a really sick name, I'm just going to say that. The final occultist sect lives in almost utter seclusion and secrecy. In fact, they do not exist on the map at all at the start date, and I actually had to convert somebody so that you could see them on the map. Descended from ancient fraternal orders, the Arcanists have adopted once decorative ranks and rituals and turned them into legitimate practices of worship for the source of all knowledge, the grand architect, their high god. Their mission is to preserve knowledge and wisdom of humanity and protect it from an entropic madness, their night god, and cousin to ignorance, their devil god, which they believe threaten to erase all knowledge from the world and plunge humanity into an intellectual darkness that they will never escape. They believe a madness of this sort caused the event, and to prevent it from happening again, or something like it from happening again, they collect and safeguard knowledge. Given the secrecy of their faith, they have come to revere lying as a most sacred act of survival and reverence, and are known to falsely convert to other faiths when the need arises. Practitioners of this faith, Master Masons, collect ancient knowledge and magic and preserve it in the name of the Grand Architect. This is generally looked over in a lodge and held by a Tyler or a priest who uses it alongside old charges to pay homage to the Grand Architect. The Masons also revere former members of their order, men of great knowledge and wisdom who they believe ascended to assist the Grand Architect after death. Some of those individuals include Benjamin Franklin, god of fertility and knowledge, Hiram Abiff, god of faith, and Samuel Colt, god of war. The head of faith of the Arcanist is known as the Grand Sentinel. And that's going to be it for this one. Wanted to do a little bit of a short one, had a lot of fun diving into these faiths, and again, if you prefer how I normally do these videos where I talk about their holy sites or I talk about their practices, or I guess rather their tenets, I can continue to do that. I just thought for this one, since I wanted to kind of shake it up a little bit, do something a little different, if you don't like it, that's totally fine, just let me know, and I'll be happy to switch it back. But that's going to be it for me, so thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Soul. This has been the Occultist Faiths of After the End, and I will happily see you in the next one.